So I haven't adjusted for the time change yet over here because I still feel like I'm sick. So I don't want to upset my internal clock yet. And because I'm my own boss, I make all this billions of dollars. We're not doing the YouTubes. I don't need to. I don't need to change my clock for that, but I'll change it later maybe. But anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna fix that at some point in case that's bothering anyone, but not for a while. Maybe I won't fix. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to the same kind of thing today, and so I'm gonna continue. We left off last time working on the Dorian node, and I'm just building one at a time, and I'm just gonna keep building the chord up and think about the intervals. And my logic here is, if I can do this on one slice, like right in the middle of the guitar, or like this is the slice we're looking on, and I can then shift between all of the 7 nodes on one slice of the guitar, not even the whole slice down to here, because this is a repeat, then I should be able to apply that concept to any place on the guitar, right? Because if I'm looking at the second node down is an Ionian, then I'm always leaning forward into shape number 5, no matter where it is. If this was the second note down and it was the Ionian, it'd be the same thing. If this was the second note down and it was the Ionian, it'd be the same thing, right? So I'd be leaning forward, meaning if this Ionian was pushed over here, meaning I would be in the collection of notes around 7, then I'd be leaning forward into shape number 5. If it was 8, then the Ionian would be here. Why is it not? Got stuck. Then the Ionian would be here, and then I'd be leaning forward into shape number 5. So I'm always so that means that, going back to the nodal point 4, or that means that if I can understand one slice, the most efficient way to learn to be able to switch from any nodal point from any perspective on any string, it seems to me, is to take one slice and then be able to know each of the 7 nodal points from that slice, and then practice shifting it up and back on the guitar. And then it gets a little wonky because, of course, when you go back here, you get cut off by the neck, and you've got those open strings, and when you go up top this way, you end up at the end of the guitar at some point, right? But in theory, it goes up and back forever. And for example, if this is the second note down as a Dorian, then that means you're always leaning forward into shape number 2. Shape number 1. And if the fourth string down is an Ionian, you're always leaning forward into shape number 1, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. All right. Anyways, let's go back on over to my noodle spot. Let's get a noodle thing. So let's try to noodle down from the second one this time. Let's start on the second string and do the similar kind of process. So I was gonna think about going boom, boom. I was kind of thinking about a pattern last night. Let's just build up a pattern. It would be going down this way. And then if I went down here, then I can go back to the open. I can then go back to the open right there. So I'm thinking to myself in Mixolydian then, kind of Mixolydian to Mixolydian maybe. So it'd be like, yeah, I'm kind of off on the X right now because I think it's because of the time thing. So I'm going to try to fix it when I fix my schedule, but I'm not going to fix my schedule until my body starts getting better, so I can then tweak it with schedule tweaks. I'm not changing anything right now. it should, something's wrong here. Wait a sec. It goes dun dun. Why is this going back here? It should go boom boom. That's why I'm like, what the heck? My pattern's not right. What if I just bring it down to here and then I go back to the open string? Alright, let's try that. I was gonna try a pattern like, what if I tried to play it like from the back to the front? So same pattern, but I'm gonna start this way. So I'm gonna play the second note first. Easiest way to do that would be to use the good old pointer finger and just actually slide it back instead of jumping. So it's just all pointer finger. It's almost, I feel almost cheating. done that before. That's kind of a pretty easy pattern. I've never really thought about fingering it like that. That's kind of funny. You could definitely get fast with that. Interessante. Let's try my skipping thing, because if I go back down here I can end off at another Mixolydian to Mixolydian. So let's try, I'm going to try to go from here and then down to here and then back up to here and then down to here. That's kind of difficult just from a fingering standpoint. Alright, joke break. I don't think. Joke break. What do I got today? I don't think this is my best work, but the AI images will make it tolerable, I feel like. Okay. Let's see. They keep saying that AI music is going to take over a huge chunk of what we listen to. AI music's going to take over a huge chunk of what we listen to. And I, for one, will not stand for it. I won't stand for it. Mainly because I prefer to enjoy music when I'm sitting down. So, because a lot of the AI music stuff that I make is instrumental, you know, like work music you can sit to, spreadsheet music, Excel just balance the books music, you know. But if I need to work, if I need workout music, then yes, then I'll stand for it. I will stand for the AI music then if I'm working out with it, but I don't feel that good right now, so I'm gonna basically not gonna stand for it. Although that depends on the workout, even if I was feeling good and working out at the point, because it depends on the workout. Because if it's sit-up day, I'm then mainly sitting, even though I have stand-up music on. Now that I think about it, the argument as to whether you'll stand for AI music is kind of stupid, you know, because I feel like the standing or sitting decision is more based on the music genre than whether it was made by AI or not. You know, it's kind of like a red herring argument as to whether you're going to stand for it or not based on AI, because I think the real issue depends on like what the mood is like that you're doing the music for. All right, that was dumb. Let me try a song on it. I still made a song about it. That's what you do when you're delirious. That's the kind of joke you'd make when you're delirious or something. That's okay. I will make it. It's good practice. See if I can.
They keep saying AI music's gonna take over what we hear. Fill up every playlist, every track, every year. But I for one will not stand for it. No sir, not one bit. Mostly because I prefer to enjoy my music sitting. See, most of the AI songs I make are instrumental things, the kind of tunes that quietly help your productivity sing. It's work music, focus music, spreadsheet balancing hooks. That sweet smooth groove of Excel just balance the books. This is sit down music, calculator rhythm and blues, pivot tables in the background, and a coffee break groove. If the data reconciles and the columns all align, that's the sound of victory. That's the sound of victory in 4/4 spreadsheet time. Now if I need workout music, alright, I'll make a stand. Then I'm up on my feet with the headphones in my hands. Yes, I will stand for AI music when the workout's on the way. Although that kinda depends on the workout day, because if today's the day we're doing sit-ups in the gym, well, technically speaking, I'm still mostly sitting again. Now that I think about it, this whole debate's absurd. People arguing online like it's some philosophical word. Will you stand for AI music? That's a question they deplore. But posture has a lot more to do with the genre you enjoy. If it's kind of work music, sit and let it play.
If it's metal or hip,
If it's metal or hip hop, you might jump up anyway. So the real big secret,
real busy crick,
no philosopher can deny,
better you stand or sit.
has nothing to do with AI.
All right. Funky groove, man. All right. Let's go back and get back to work. See if I can get through one. This should be easy because we're at the beginning again. Back to the beginning with the new nodal point. See if the guitar is still in tune after beating it up. I've been watching these woodworkers that take these beat up guitars and they're like beyond recognition beat up and then they revive them. It's pretty crazy. It's like, dude, you could have just started from scratch. I mean, the whole top of the guitar is like broken off and like it's all water damage and warped all over the place. Like, and that's the project. It's like, watch how I did something that's harder than making a new guitar. Like, it's like, all right, I'll watch it because it's pretty crazy. But anyway, okay. So now let's keep on rolling on this. Okay. Okay. So now, once again, I'm in what I call 4 o'clock, meaning collection notes around the key of C, and I'm focused on, which means that the nodal point C, or the C is on the 8th fret, first string down from the ceiling, back to A, which is nodal point 6. And you might call this shape number 1. You might call it the Ionian G shape. The second string down from the ceiling is what we're focused on, which happens to be the star of D. So the strings are the stars, and underneath it are the continents and the oceans. We're on continent number 2 in the collection of notes at 4 o'clock around C major, and that's going to be the Dorian continent. Continent number 2. All right, so we're leaning forward from it into shape number 1. And then we're building a chord, and when we build a chord, we're just taking every other half step or every whole step or every other scale degree, if you're thinking of it in scale degrees, right? So that means if I'm on nodal point 2, I don't need to say that's going to be the 1 and then compare the scale degrees if I just measure distance. So I'm just going to say the distance to the first jump. Like again, if I'm going to build, let me just, since we're on the basics right now, let's just think about this a little bit more detailed. If I was going to build like a chord on it, what would I do? I'd make that the 1, and so it's going to have the 1, and then it's going to have the 3, which is going to be up here, meaning you took every other scale degree, including the one you're on, right? Now, what I would think that normal measurements would do is say, well, no, I'm not going to count the one I'm on as the thing I'm measuring from. That's the tonic that I'm on. That's just the tonic. It's 0. It's 0.0, and then I'm going to go 2 up from there, which I'm going to measure in modal half steps. So that means I don't have to renumber the tonic to number 1, because I don't need it to be number 1 in order to count scale degrees, because the distance is all I need. Distance within the 7-note collection, the 7 steps or between them not being even because of the formula format, but that's okay as long as we know where we're starting from. So right, so if I'm on nodal point 2, then instead of making it the 1 and saying I'm going to take 2 scale degrees up from it, every other scale degree, I'm just going to say, well, I'm going to keep it at 2, and then I'm just going to measure from it because it's 0.0. I'm measuring from the Dorian continent to see how far it is to get 2 modal half steps up, right? So 2, 3, 4. So if I go 1 modal whole step up, which is defined by 2 modal half steps within the 7-note collection, then that's going to be obviously 2, 3, 4, and I could just use some simple math to get to 4. So that means that nodal point number 4, which is the Lydian node, the Lydian continent, nodal point 4 is always Dorian's first modal whole step times 2 Dorian's second modal half step plus 1 Dorian's third scale degree. So what I'm saying here is that if we were to rebuild the system from scratch today without all the baggage, I can say with all like 99.99% surety what we would do is drop the scale degree thing, right? Because what we would do is we would measure from the nodal point and say that's point 0, so I don't have to renumber the system. That means it's what you might call like an off by 1 error. So, right, I mean, all of the scale degrees are off by 1 because you're counting the node that you're on as the nodal point, right? So that's what if you do that, it seems to me from my perspective, everything kind of clicks in to place so that you can visualize it everything a lot more easily, right? So that's going to be the whole thing. So I'm going to say, okay, so that, and then if I only have those two, so that means, and how far is the first modal whole step, second modal half step, third scale degree? Well, from the Dorian node, it should be only a short distance, 3 notes away, as opposed to a long distance, 4 notes away. Now, if I count that out, I can count it by saying 5 notes between the strings, 10 notes between the strings, and then 15 as we go diagonally up here, because this kink in the tuning shifted to the right. So that means 15, the local distance would be 15 minus 12, or 5 minus 2, which would be 3 notes away. Now, the one we did yesterday was Ionian. So Ionian was over here, and the third, the relative third for the Ionian then would be here, right? It's a little too close for comfort, right? It would be right there, boom, boom, for the Ionian. Let's do it this way, so it's got the, this is a mess today. Let's do it this way, so I have, right. So now I can say from here, because that's a 4 note away distance. Why? Because it has a long distance 5, 10, 15, 15, 16, right? So now 16 minus 12 would be 6 minus 2, or 4, versus 3. And so now, so notice I don't really need to define the distance from the Dorian as though I need to compare it to the Ionian. I could just say the distance in modal, in whatever I want, modal whole steps, modal half steps, or note distance, and then just recognize which ones are the same and which ones are different. This one's different, and this is the one we define the major categories from: the first modal whole step, second modal half step, or third scale degree. Okay, I'm not sure I'm saying that exactly as well as I could, but that's the premise. Okay. So now I want to make this, let's try to make it the Lydian node this time. So what I'm going to say is like, okay, what I want to do is play from this Dorian. I want to make it now the Lydian. So why would I do that? Well, maybe I'm noodling around here in Dorian, and then I'm like, I want to get a major feel for it, right? So I'm noodling around in Dorian, and I want to get a major feel. So then most of the time you'd say, okay, well then you'd probably go to Ionian. You'd probably want to skip it to Ionian. But then I'm like, no, I want the Phrygian, because the Phrygian has that distinct, possibly because it has that distinct tritone right there on the third modal half step, fourth scale degree. So it's because I want to get that major feel and that tweak right there. So okay, so that's what I'm going to go for. That's kind of weird, but you could totally do that. And then I'm going to switch up so I get that one in instead of a minor third, major third. Okay, so that's going to be the goal. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, if I find the Lydian in the current shape, now one way I could do it is I could just say, well, I'm just going to keep this as nodal point 2 in my mind, but I'm going to add a major third to it up here, or down here, I'm gonna add the major third, which would be out here, right? And I'm also gonna hit that distinctive tritone in there. And that way I'm not going to lose my peg. So I would name whatever chord or whatever I'm doing right there as a Dorian / Lydian chord, a Dorian / Lydian 3. Right, that's what I would like to name it as, because then you could stay in the same spot, or I can simply name it from the perspective of the Dorian, adding the node that's in the ocean. And when I add the node, right, or I can change my whole perspective to move this nodal point back. So I'm like, okay, where is this nodal point? Well, if I'm on 2, it's going to be 3, 4, so it's 2 modal half steps up, and I know the distance is always 2 to 3 is always a whole step, 3 to 4 is always a half step. So I'm going to be up here in what I would call shape number. This is leaning forward into what I would call shape number 2, a Locrian / Ionian shape, or the Ionian E shape. If I was to play the scale from right there, we'd say it's going to be 4. I'm not going to make it a 1. I don't need to make it a 1 and say now I need to play the Lydian scale and make it a 1. Then if you do that, then you're prepping your brain as though it's different. Then all the nodal points are the same, right? Like I can just play from 4 to 4. I just go up to 7, 4 to 7, and then I go back to 1, right? So I'm going to keep it as a 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't need to make it. I'm in a Lydian 1. That's the Lydian 1. You see how much more work that makes you do if you make that the Lydian 1? Because now you have to memorize, as though it's a whole different thing, 12 times 7 different scales. And you can't really look at the relationship between all the nodes as being permanent, because all the relationships are going to change. Because if you keep it the same, I always know that if the Lydian to mixed Lydian is always a whole step. If I make that the 1, then I'm like, okay, now it's going to be 1 to 2, but I don't know what a 1 to 2 is unless I'm on the Lydian scale. Then it has a different formula. It doesn't have a different formula if you don't renumber the system. Then it would be. Then you could just count it from 4 to 4. You know, like, I mean, why? I don't know. Anyways, so I could kind of play this Dorian like as though it was the mixed Lydian, right? I'm going to make that the 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I could do that. So why does that work? Because that would be as though I moved this 1, 2, 3 ticks back. So if I'm at 4 o'clock minus 3, that would be to 1 o'clock. So when I put 1, I'm going to imagine this shifting back. Boom. And so there it is. So now my finger's still on the star of D, but now I'm leaning forward into shape number 2, the Locrian / Ionian shape, or you might call it the Ionian E shape. And so there we have it. Let's bring it back to 4. And let's say I don't know the shape from there, but I know it here. So I can see it here. There's the Lydian right there. And so I can see it in shape number 4, or the Phrygian / Lydian shape, or the Ionian C shape. Now it's easier to finger up here as it repeats on the 12th fret, because then I'm not going to deal with the open string, so I can see how to finger it where I'm at. So if I was to play shape number 4 from the top, from Lydian to Lydian, it would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little hard to play because I don't have the cutout here. But if I was to play that over here, then I could just kind of imagine that my star of D is the 4. And I could say, could I do that? Could I play the second string down as though it was the top string of like shape number 4, so that it would be played in Lydian? Yeah, as long as we account for the kink in the tuning, which we don't even have to do if we only go one time through, because we're not going to get down to this part where there's a kink in the tuning. So it would just be like, okay, same pattern, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops, wait a sec. I started at 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I got that right. So yeah, so same thing. Why does that work? Because if that would be as though I moved this down 1 tick, which is equivalent to 5 ticks to the right, and then to the left, and then this down 1 tick, and then to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be 8 minus 5 would be 5, 6, -3, -3, and then 4 minus 3, because I'm at 4 o'clock, would get us to 1 again. So that would be, I'm going to imagine going to 1 again, but this time instead of imagining this going back to here, I'm imagining this going down and then way over here. So go boom. So there it is. Boom. All right, let's go back to the 4. And then I'm going to say, okay, what? So that makes sense. I could see it from here. Maybe I know it from this spot. But when I know it from this spot, well, it's going to cross the kink in the tuning. So let's just think about that so we can deal with this kink in the tuning probably. I could say, okay, well, I see it right here in the current shape. It's leaning forward into shape number 5, or the Ionian A shape. So if I played it from there, could I imagine this as though it's the 3rd string down from shape number 5? And we could, but the kink in the tuning is going to affect us in a way that I haven't been dealing with as much. So let's look at it. We're going to say, if I was playing from here, it'd be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the kink in the tuning throws it out to, wait a sec, did I get that right? I'm right here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, kink in the tuning, 2, 3, 4. So right here, this got shifted up from when we saw the pattern up here because of the fault line right there. So that means I could play this note as though it was that, but then when I get down to this kink in the tuning, I'd have to shift it back. That's a little harder to do mentally than to take one that's above, that when I play it will go down the kink in the tuning. In other words, this one if I shift something from the bottom of the guitar up, then to me it's a little bit more difficult to account for the fault line, because I'm trying to take a pattern that already has the fault line in it and reverse it to a pattern that doesn't have the fault line in it. Whereas if I was up here and I took the pattern that doesn't have the fault line in it and then I apply it to this one, which is a pattern which will include the fault line, to me it's a lot easier for me to visualize where that fault line is as I cross that string. I'm like, oh, that has to go up. I can visualize I have to go up a kink. When I'm looking at a pattern here from the bottom that has the kink in it and I'm trying to apply it up to the top, which doesn't have the kink in it, then I have to account for the fault line warp in reverse. If you could visualize that, I think that would mean that you're really visualizing the guitar well. I can't really, which I'm not an expert at, right? So that's why it's a practice session. So let's try to practice it. So I'm going to play as though this one was the 4. So I'm like, okay, if this was the 4, but I'm going to apply that to nodal point 3, nodal point 2, it'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and see how this one then crosses the fault line? For me, it doesn't, so I have to shift this one back, right? 2, 3, 4. So I think I got that right. So it'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So anyways, I'll have to mess with that more later, but you can visualize that and say, well, why would that work? Because I would say that this is going to go up 1, which is equivalent to 5 to the left or 7 to the right. 5 is easier to count in, so I'm going to say that's 5 to the left and then 1, 2 to the right. So 5 minus 2 would be -3, And then 12 minus 3 would be 9. Something got messed up here. If I go, let's go. 1 up is 7 to the right. 7, 8, 9. Why is that? Something, my head is gone. I think I'm losing it. I'm losing it, man. It's all over. 5, it would be 7, 8, 9. And then 9 plus 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 13. And then 13 minus 12 is 1. Yeah, so we get back to 1. Okay. Boom. All right. All right. Makes perfect sense. I can make perfect sense because I used to work at a cash register, and making perfect sense is something I did on a daily basis. Otherwise, the supervisor yelled at me. Alright, I think I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna just noodle around for a bit. I'm kinda out of it. I'm gonna keep noodling. Back up here again, going Dorian to Dorian, just so you know. So I was thinking this pattern's kind of interesting because it's the same distance. I don't hit that half step all the way down, and then here, and then I'm walking back here, boom, 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 back to this Dorian, like that.
Thank